I was debating whether or not to play the intro because I'm like, it's not really, pardon me, technically the podcast. This is a special edition, special late night edition of Bye Bye Biden. Adios, muchacho. So long, Joe. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord splits you. I always mess that one up. I think that's how it goes. Yeah, this is it, folks. This is it. We're going to be the last primetime interruption we have in our lives for Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. I guess, unless, of course, something happens. If something happens, maybe something will happen next week and I'll have to break it. Hopefully not. But there's live remarks from Joe Biden. Hold on. I got it here. This is the one I want here, right? I think that looks better. This is it. This could be the, wait, no, I think it's, hold on. I got a couple of them. I think it's this one that I want. Yeah, because here's what we're going to do. I know that you guys are going to be super chatting away. If you're on the YouTube, I set a goal for super chats tonight because, I figure why. Well, we're always playing around with YouTube. We're always come up with new and exciting ways to make YouTube exciting. And super chat, we're going to shout you out with a super chat. And look, we're going to put you up here. I'll show you. I can put you up. Boom. Just like that. If you super chat. And I know that's a D. Dockery, by the way, that Liberty lady who's moderating today, multiple live streams. We don't want to talk about the other ones. We just want to talk about this one. But if you want to throw a super chat up there, we'll put it right there where that is on the bottom. That's why I want to leave this. That's why I want to leave this screen like that. But I'll tell you what, man, we have, holy cow, what a crazy. This is not only the farewell address for Joe Biden, his farewell primetime. Oops, hold on. let me fix that. Not only his farewell primetime address, but it's the second time today he's had to speak. I know what you're thinking. It's like, oh my God. He took, he did a press conference. I guess he didn't have to speak, but he did. He did this press conference. I don't know if you heard about this Hamas thing that happened that Donald Trump was able to negotiate. Donald Trump was able to go in and negotiate an amazing peace deal. Donald Trump, peace through strength. You've all heard that. Donald Trump, you may remember, and I have it here. Hold on, I have it here somewhere. Trump, all hell to pay. I want to make sure that I read this to you again because this is important. Donald Trump, you may remember, back last year, looks like it was the 2nd. On December the 2nd, President Donald Trump on Truth Social said everybody is talking about the hostages who are being held so violently, inhumanely, and against the will of the entire world in the Middle East. But it's all talk and no action. Please let this truth, meaning this post on Truth Social, serve to represent that if the hostages are not released prior to January 20th, 2025, the date that I proudly assume office as President of the United States, there will be, this is the important part, all hell to pay. All hell to pay in the Middle East and for those in charge who perpetrated these atrocities against humanity. Those responsible will be hit harder than anybody has been hit in the long and storied history of the United States of America. Release the hostages now. That was on December 2nd. It's now January 15th. And guess what? The hostages are being released. And guess who's taking all the credit? If you said Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., you are correct. Here's what he said today at his makeshift impromptu press conference with Kamala Harris and Anthony Blinken.
At long last, I can announce a ceasefire and a hostage deal has been reached between Israel and Hamas.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Israel. Blah. At long last, I can announce this hostage deal has been negotiated and the hostages will be released. And then listen to what he said next.
For more than 15 months of conflict that began with Hezbollah's brutal massacre on October the 7th.
I'm sorry, that was not Hezbollah's brutal massacre on October the 7th. It was Hamas's brutal massacre on October the 7th. It wouldn't be a Joe Biden press conference if he didn't have at least one blunder, one gaffe, one mess up.
For more than 15 months of conflict that began with Hezbollah's brutal massacre on October the 7th.
I guess one more time for old time's sake, he's going to mess up. And, I get it. Hamas, Hezbollah, they're very similar, but totally different. And if you're going to be factually accurate, it was Hamas that invaded Israel on October 7th, not Hezbollah. They invaded, I think, the next day. But anyway, Joe Biden's like, look, you know what? We made this deal. This deal happened. And Kamala's sitting in the background. And Kamala knows. If you watch Kamala Harris during this whole thing, she knows. She knows Joe Biden didn't have nothing to do with this. She knows it's not their victory. This is stolen valor. This is like some Tim Walz stolen valor type crap. Donald Trump's the one that said all hell there'll be all hell to pay. Donald Trump's the one that put the Middle East on notice. Donald Trump's the one that threatened the destruction of an entire, I mean, he basically said, Hamas, you're done. It's not going to be pretty. You're going to be gone. There will be no more Hamas unless the hostages get released. And Joe Biden's out there going, I made this deal. It's fantastic. Look at what we did.
The elements of this deal were what I laid out in detail this past May, which was embraced by countries around the world and endorsed overwhelmingly by the UN Security Council.
Now, I'd like to point out something because I thought about this. For like a sec. I guess Joe Biden didn't think about it. The people that wrote his speech didn't think about it. Joe Biden's out there going, back in May, I laid out this. So, but here's what happened. October 7th, 2023. Okay. Back in October 7th, 2023, Hamas invades Israel. You remember they broke through the gate. They started killing people at the festival. They had the air. They had the little hand paragliders, whatever, that they paraglided in and just rat-a-tat-tat started taking people out. Then they dragged a bunch of hostages. They put them in pickup trucks and on the back of motorcycles, took them back into the tunnels, they're American hostages, Jewish, Israeli hostages, European hostages, whoever. If you were at the festival, you were prime, you were game. And they went into entire villages. It was horrible. It was a horrible day. And that was in 2023. And then the following May, so that's October 7th, so you got November, basically all of October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. That's 7 months. 7 months that Joe Biden did nothing. Squat. Diddly. So for 7 months, Joe Biden was not able to do anything to stop for a ceasefire. There was no hostage negotiation. It was bombs and brutal this and Gaza. And that's when, you may remember, that's when all of the crazy college kids at all the campuses at Columbia University and Harvard University, all these crazy, we're pro-Palestine. We hate Israel. We hate America. We're going to try to rip down the American flag at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and replace it with the Palestinian flag until the fraternity bros said, not on our watch. That was going on the entire time. 7 months, Joe Biden did nothing. And then finally in May, he goes, okay, maybe it's time to broker a ceasefire. So in May of 2024, Joe Biden brokers a ceasefire. And then let's see, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. 8 more months go by. 8 more months go by. And finally, here's Donald Trump. He's won the election. He's the president-elect. He's starting his transition team. And he goes, forget this. If you guys don't release our hostages by January 20th, then all hell will break loose.
As you know, I gave warning that if these hostages aren't back home by that date, all hell's going to break out.
Yeah, all hell's going to break out. All hell's going to break loose. There'll be hell to pay. It's like hell. That's all it is. In fact, he was just last week, he did a press conference, remember, with Steve Witkoff, who's been out there. Steve Witkoff's been out there negotiating this peace as well. And Donald Trump goes, excuse me, I don't want to, hold on. I just want to reiterate that there'll be hell to pay.
He exhorts us to speak emphatically. And emphatically means you better get it. You better do this because the alternative.
Do you think they're waiting for President Trump to take office?
No, I think they heard him loud and clear. Better get done by the inaugural.
But when you say all hell will be paid, all hell must be paid if they don't release the hostages.
You know what that means, don't you? What, do I have to define it for you? Look, all
No,
hell will break out. If those hostages aren't back, I don't want to hurt your negotiation. If they're not back by the time I get into office, all hell will break out in the Middle East.
Can you elaborate?
And it will not be good for Hamas, and it will not be good, frankly, for anyone. All hell will break out. I don't have to say anymore, but that's what it is.
I like how he goes, I don't want to mess up your negotiation, but if this doesn't happen, all hell will break out. I'm pretty sure that aided, and I'm pretty sure that helped the negotiation. If I were Steve Witkoff, I'd be like, yeah, thanks for reiterating that. That's going to make this negotiation go real smooth. And in fact, he said they're not going to wait. They know. Donald Trump didn't say by the week after I become president. Donald Trump didn't say by the second Thursday after the inauguration. Donald Trump said these hostages have to be released before I take office. And wouldn't you know it, that's what happened. And wouldn't you know it, J.D. Vance predicted this on the Sunday shows.
If you talk to world leaders, it's very clear that President Trump threatening Hamas and making it clear that there is going to be hell to pay is part of the reason why we've made progress on getting some hostages out. We're hopeful there's going to be a deal that's struck towards the very end of Biden's administration, maybe the last day or two. But regardless of when that deal is struck, it will be because people are terrified that there are going to be consequences for Hamas.
Okay, so listen to what he said. He literally predicted what happened. He goes, look, it could be a couple of days toward the end of Joe Biden's administration. Wow, that's amazing. That's impeccable timing, JD Vance. It is, in fact, a couple days before the end of Joe Biden's administration. He goes, we don't know when it's going to happen. Probably a couple days with Joe Biden left in office. They're gonna come to their senses, and they're gonna realize that they don't want to mess with Donald Trump. They don't want to mess with us. There will be consequences. Mike Waltz, our good buddy, former congressman from Florida's 6th district, I guess still currently. Or did he quit? It doesn't matter. National security advisor to the incoming president said the same thing.
It's just unacceptable, and there are going to be consequences to those who think they can take an American. There is going to no longer be any upside for anyone who harms Americans abroad.
I mean, and that's really, you don't want there to be an upside. If people are taking Americans hostage, you don't want there to be an upside at all. And Mike Waltz is like, there's not going to be. There's going to be. It's not going to be pleasant.
It means it won't be pleasant. It's not going to be pleasant, yeah?
Yeah. And so look what happened today. Joe Biden comes out and announces there is now a ceasefire, and he believes it's because of the deal he laid out last May.
The elements of this deal were what I laid out in detail this past May, which was embraced by countries around the world and endorsed overwhelmingly by the UN Security Council.
By the way, a reporter, and I was shocked by this. I was totally shocked by this. One of the reporters asked Joe Biden, excuse me, Mr. President, do you think that, maybe Donald Trump saying, hey guys, you got till the 20, because you said this in May and nothing happened for months. And then in December, Donald Trump said, get with the program or die, basically. And now all of a sudden, this is happening a couple days before you leave office. Do you feel like Donald Trump put there's a deadline. Joe Biden never came up with a deadline. Joe Biden said in May, I have a plan for a ceasefire. What does everybody think? And they all go, great job. There's no deadline. There was no line in the sand. And even if there had been, they know that it would have all just been BS. And so it just continued. The war continued. The fighting continued. The hostages, they could have come home a year ago. But Joe Biden refused. Joe Biden refused to do anything about it. Donald Trump said you got till January 20th. And here we are, 5 days before the deadline, and a ceasefire has been reached for the hostages to come home. Anyway, this reporter asks Joe Biden, do you think that maybe you should give some credit to President Donald Trump? Here's what he said.
How much credit do you give to the Trump team for this deal? Trump is already taking credit for it.
Well, this is the exact framework of the deal I proposed back in May. Exact.
This is all me, baby. I came up with this deal back in May. This exact deal. I came up with it back in May. And Donald Trump has nothing to do with it. Oh, yeah, we coordinated with him. Sure. Yeah, we worked with him because, we came up with this deal in May. We got this deal done just in the nick of time somehow. And now Donald Trump's going to have to execute it.
I knew this deal would have to be implemented by the next team. So I told my team to coordinate closely with the incoming team to make sure we're all speaking with the same voice, because that's what American presidents do.
Look at Kamala. Look at Kamala and Anthony Blinken. They both know they're like, we're going to get reamed for this. They're both looking like Kamala Harris in this picture looks like she knows this guy did absolutely nothing. And here is yet another instance where Donald Trump said he was going to do something, did it, and everybody knows it. And Joe Biden on his way out the door is stealing the thunder.
I knew this deal would have to be implemented.
He's stealing the valor. He's pulling a Tim Walz. He's like, look what I did. It took me a long time, but I finally got it done. I finally got it done. That's amazing. And then on the way out the door, somebody else said, wait a minute. We got to know. We got to know who really gets the credit.
Who does the history books credit for this, Mr. President? You or Trump?
Is that a joke?
Oh, is that a
thank you?
You're a joke. Is that a joke? Who gets the credit? Is that a joke? No, it's not a joke. You're the joke. Watch. And this is my favorite part. This is when he walks through the door and it shuts and I'm like, oh, we never have to see him again until like 20 minutes from now.
Who does the history books credit for this, Mr. President? You or Trump?
Is that a joke?
Is that a joke? Oh, thank you.
Oh my God, Kamala's so done with him. Kamala's like, I cannot wait for the day that I never have to stand behind this guy again. I can't wait for the day and here it is, the door. The door closes on Joe Biden's career. Slam. And that's it. And then we're just going to, and then, yeah, unfortunately, like I said, we're going to see him here. We're going to see him here in just a minute. But that's it, man. That's it. All hell to pay. All hell to pay. That's what got this deal done. And Joe Biden's out there taking credit for it, which is just, I don't know. I just think, I mean, look, it's audacious. That's for sure. It's audacious. I'll give you that. But, oh, look, they're going to start soon. Maybe I'll pull it up. Maybe I'll pull it up like that. Yeah, there we go. It's a little audacious. Wait, that's not the one I want. I want this one here. But again, I guess, you know, that's Joe Biden's forte. That's how Joe Biden rolls. He's like, I'm 84. Was it 82, 83? He's like 80-ish. He's old, basically, is what I'm saying. He's old and he doesn't have anything else to lose. So he's just gonna take all the credit. He's gonna walk out the door and I'm not gonna see you no mo. And that's the end of it. That's the end of Joe Biden. And then here in just a minute, he's going to address the nation one last time. Isn't that how it goes from Hamilton? Here, have a drink with me. One last time. Anyway, we'll get to that here. It's going to start. Look, we will begin shortly, and we will bring you Joe Biden's entire speech, and we'll of course Mystery Science Theater 3000 it, and we'll let you know everything that's going on while it's happening. I will say I'm predicting what he's going to talk about. I will predict what he's going to talk about, and I'll do that here in just a minute. But look, we're starting to get some super chats, and as I promised, I will display them on the screen and shout out. We have a goal, by the way. I set a goal. Let me see how this works. The goal ends in 20. I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's a goal up there for super chats today. And we have one super chat. Looks like we got a super sticker. That's very nice. We appreciate that. And the goal is 15. So we're only 14 shy of our super chat goal. But look, here we go. We got a super sticker from Brenda V. She sent a pear character holding his belly, laughing out loud. This is my favorite thing about these super stickers. My software doesn't actually show you the sticker. It writes a description of the super sticker. So Brenda sent a pear character holding his belly, laughing out loud. Brenda, thank you so much. Brenda V, everybody. I do definitely appreciate that super sticker. Your personal mechanic sent a $5 super chat. Mark, Trump terms were not met. There will still be hostages on January 20th. Some are Americans. I will be disappointed if Trump doesn't follow through. Okay, yes. So there's a tiered release. We're going to have to see. Here's the thing. I think that this ceasefire agreement coming in with Joe Biden, I think that the fact that they agreed to his framework is the first part of it. But now that they've agreed, Donald Trump and his team are going to get involved. And you're right. It's like there's the A tier, the B tier, the C tier. They have not yet announced who's coming home when, that kind of thing. But I would rest assured that these hostages, Donald Trump is not going to let this happen. He's made too big a deal about it. In fact, he went on Truth Social again today and commented about how this epic deal was all his doing. And I imagine he's going to get the hostages back on his time frame and not on anyone else's. But that is true. That is true, your personal mechanic. And thank you so much for the super chat. We really do appreciate it. Let me see if I can actually pull up. Here's what Donald Trump said this afternoon. There we go. Let me pull it up right here. And yeah, here's what Donald Trump said this afternoon. Donald Trump, he released this statement that says, the epic ceasefire agreement could have only happened as a result of our historic victory in November, as it signaled to the entire world that my administration would seek peace and negotiate deals to ensure the safety of all Americans and our allies. I am thrilled American and Israeli hostages will be returning home to be reunited with their families and loved ones. With this deal in place, my national security team, through the efforts of Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, will continue to work closely with Israel and our allies to make sure Gaza never again becomes a terrorist safe haven. We will continue promoting peace through strength throughout the region as we build upon the momentum of this ceasefire to further expand the historic Abraham Accords. This is only the beginning of great things to come for America and indeed the world. We have achieved so much without even being in the White House. Just imagine all the wonderful things that will happen when I return to the White House and my administration is fully confirmed, so they can secure more victories for the United States of America. So that is what Donald Trump said today. And so I believe that the ceasefire agreement, I think he'll make sure that what he said happens because he knows we're all watching. He knows we're all watching, just like we're all watching for Joe Biden's final address to the nation. Now, I will say this. I believe that Joe Biden is going to probably bore the pants off us. I don't think it's going to be a short address. Remember, Joe Biden has been doing this for 50 years. Since I was born. Joe Biden, when I popped into this world, Joe Biden popped into Washington, D.C. That's about the same. That's about how long he's been at this, 50 years. And after 5 decades, this is not a farewell address about the 4 years that he's been as president. This is farewell to the 50 years he spent in Washington, D.C., bilking the taxpayers, convincing the people in Delaware he was the best man for the job, sucking off the company teat, as I like to call it. This is Joe Biden saying, hey, for 50 years, I patted my own pockets and made my family a fortune. And thank you all. Let me detail everything that I did over the past few years. Now, I think he's going to probably also talk about COVID a lot. When I got here, man, COVID was ravaged. And look what I did to COVID. I killed COVID and we all got the shot. And all that's all going to come up. He's going to talk. He's going to already tout these accomplishments that we know he's not responsible for. Probably he'll talk about the Afghanistan withdrawal. Probably he's going to talk about what happened today with the ceasefire. Probably he'll talk about God knows what else, but that's what he does. He talks. He's a professional politician and he doesn't know when to shut up. He'll tell some stories about people we don't know. He'll talk about old friends of his and that are long dead. He'll say something inappropriate, I'm sure. But I imagine he'll definitely bring up what he inherited when he got here. And I think he's also probably going to do a little bit of that, parental here, now listen, I'm going to give you some advice in the future. He's going to continue to talk about the threats to democracy and how close we came to losing it all and how he was able to bring us back together after January 6th, all that stuff that didn't happen. He's going to totally ignore the fact that he's the least popular president in history, that he's the least effective president in history. He's going to ignore the fact that the budget was ridiculously horrible, that Bidenomics was a complete failure, that inflation skyrocketed, that the Chinese grew their global empire, both financially, militarily. Their footprint on the world has almost doubled. It's ridiculous. The coalitions that China's been able to build right under our noses. Meanwhile, he's been giving away money to Ukraine. He's going to talk about Ukraine for sure. He's going to talk about how we need to continue to fund Ukraine and beat back Putin and yada, 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 yada. And the problem here is, and Marco Rubio talked about it today in his Senate confirmation hearing, the problem is that Ukraine, there's no policy in the United States of America government to end the war in Ukraine. And Marco Rubio, we played that clip earlier today. Marco Rubio said there's no policy to end the war in Ukraine. It's not the official policy of the United States of America to end the war in Ukraine. Fun fact, it's not the official policy of America to end wars anywhere because too many people like Joe Biden make a lot of money off of wars. You know who's gotten rich off this war? Joe Biden got richer. Vladimir Zelensky. I'm pretty sure that Nancy Pelosi's husband, because he's the stock trader in the family, made a whole bunch. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of Democrats and some Republicans, to be totally fair, whose Raytheon stock and whose military industrial stock has skyrocketed. And I'm sure our buddy John Rutherford, I'm sure the Ukraine war has padded his pockets. I'll have to talk to my buddy Matt Gaetz about that because John Rutherford here in District 5 saw his wealth explode from $1 million to $5 million. That's $4 million this guy made by being a congressman from North Florida. Not even a congressman from like New York or LA or Chicago, where you would expect mafia kickbacks and big, economic, deposits and donors. No, Jacksonville is a relatively humble and cool place to live. It's not a small town. It's not a big town. It's like a medium-sized town. And here rolls in John Rutherford making $5 million as a congressman. It's one of the reasons we're going to get rid of him. Just you wait. More on that coming up. But I digress. I think he's going to talk about all those kinds of things, but the Ukraine war there's very few people in our government who want to see an end to that because it's just way too it's way too good for them. So I think those are the things that he will talk about here in just a minute. We're going to find out first, though, We have some super chats from Cesar Garcia. He sent a super sticker. The pear character, the pear character is very popular, lifting some weights, saying, keep it up. Thank you. I can't see the pear. I'll go back on my phone and I'll look at the pear character and I'll see what I can find. Cesar Garcia, thank you so much. We always appreciate your generosity. And I'm excited. And yeah, you keep it up. You keep it up as well. Faith B904 sent us $1.90. Oh, Caesar, that's for you. Faith B904 sent us $2 and said, good evening, Mark. Can't wait until Monday. I know, Monday's going to be exciting. Now, Monday, keep in mind, I will be in the frigid, cold, icy tundra, apparently, of Washington, D.C. Keep in mind that Monday, I will, here's what's going to happen. Monday, I will be at the inauguration, and we will bring you live updates, probably on Instagram, probably on Twitter. There will be no live show because I'll be at the inauguration, but I imagine you would be watching the inauguration anyway. And then I'll have an update for you probably afterward, and then the next day, and then the day after that, and then I'll just be talking about it ad nauseum forever, because that's what I do. But Faith B, thank you so much. That is very sweet of you. I appreciate it. 5 super girls sent a super sticker. You guys like these super stickers. I got to go check them out. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go right now. And I'm going to go on YouTube because I want to check out what these super stickers look like. All these pears that are lifting weights and whatnot. Oh, very cute. Very cute. Yep. Very, very, I like it. I see it. This one, 5 super girls sent a super sticker of a character holding their head in their hands saying incredible. And that's exactly, I do see that. It's exactly, it's a good description. This is great. You guys we're getting close to our goal too. I'll have to tell you how close we are to our goal. Teresa, let me bring up Teresa. Joe's going to tell us he brought Hamas to their knees today too. That's exactly what he's going to do. I guarantee that's exactly what Joe Biden is going to do. He's going to tell us all. He's going to take credit for this. He's going to take credit for a bunch of other stuff he had nothing to do with. He's going to talk about how he saved democracy. He's going to talk about how it was his, that's the other thing he's going to do. He's going to talk about how when he decided to step aside, he did so for the good of the country. When he decided to step aside, he did so because he knew it was the right thing to do, which is not, he was forced out, literally forced out by his own party. He may take some parting shots. You never know with Joe Biden. He's kind of a loose cannon. He may take some parting shots. He may say something backhanded or offhanded about Barack or Nancy Pelosi or even Kamala Harris. He's already gone out there and talked about how how he could have won, how he could have beaten Donald Trump, even though he lost his own party's nomination. It's going to be interesting for sure. And of course, the best news is that we will never, ever, 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 ever have to hear from Joe Biden again. We may still hear from him, but we won't have to. He won't be able to have the power and the ability to call up a press conference like this and get all of the networks and C-SPAN and everyone else to carry it. This is in the past. There'll be no more Joe Biden State of the Union addresses. There'll be no more of those scary Joe Biden moments like he had, remember, in Philadelphia? He was in Philadelphia by the red church with the red lights, and he was trying to scare everybody and trying to convince us all that white supremacy was the biggest threat to our country. Not ISIS, not terrorists who come across the border to kill us with, cyber trucks and whatnot. No, it was all white supremacy. It was all Donald Trump supporters. That's what the biggest threat was to the United States of America, according to Joe Biden. He may reiterate some of that tonight. I doubt it. But only time will tell. I'm sure he'll talk about his family. I'm sure he'll talk about Hunter. He may also talk about the DOJ. The DOJ, the Pam Bondi thing today was very interesting to me because it was a group of Democrats who were given pretty much an impossible task. The task was try to convince people that this woman is going to weaponize the government and the Department of Justice and the FBI against the Democrats. When for the last 4 years, that's exactly what Joe Biden and Merrick Garland have been doing with the Department of Justice and the FBI. Christopher Wray, the raid on Mar-a-Lago, the indictments, the investigations, the repeated, involved. It was Jack Smith and his whole botched investigation, all that. All of that was harassment of a political adversary, their number one political adversary, an opponent. They tried to not just beat Donald Trump at the ballot box, but they tried to throw him in jail, and they used the government to do so. They spent hundreds of millions of dollars on Jack Smith and his team of attorneys and all his investigators and all of the court costs. Oh, it's starting.
I'm speaking to you tonight from the Oval Office.
That was quick.
Before I begin, let me speak to important news from earlier today. After 8 months of nonstop negotiation, by my administration, a ceasefire and a hostage deal has been reached.
Why is he so quiet?
Israel and Hamas, the elements of which I laid out in great detail in May of this year. This plan was developed and negotiated by my team, and will be largely implemented by the incoming administration. That's why I told my team to keep the incoming administration fully informed.
Still trying to take credit.
That's how it should be, working together as Americans. This will be my final address to you from the American people, from the Oval Office, from this desk as president. And I've been thinking a lot about who we are, and maybe more importantly, who we should be.
Uh-oh, here we go. Here's the,
Long
I told
ago,
you.
In New York Harbor, an iron worker installed beam after beam, day after day. He was joined by steel workers, stonemasons, engineers. They built not just a single structure, but a beacon of freedom. The very idea of America was so big, we felt the entire world needed to see. The Statue of Liberty, a gift from France after our Civil War. Like the very idea of America, it was built not by one person, but by many people from every background.
Look at this chick.
From around the world.
She's thrilled.
Like America.
She's thrilled by the Statue of Liberty.
The Statue of Liberty is not standing still. Her foot literally steps forward atop a broken chain of human bondage. She's on the march, and she literally moves. She was built to sway back and forth to withstand the fury of stormy weather.
She doesn't literally move.
Stand the test of time because storms are always coming. She sways a few inches, but she never falls into the current below.
All right, she sways.
An engineering marvel. The Statue of Liberty is also an enduring symbol of the soul of our nation. A soul shaped by forces that bring us together and by forces that pull us apart. And yet, through good times and tough times, we've withstood it all. A nation of pioneers and explorers, of dreamers and doers, of ancestors native to this land, of ancestors who came by force. A nation of immigrants who came to build a better life. A nation holding the torch of the most powerful idea ever in the history of the world. That all of us are created equal. That all of us deserve to be treated with dignity, justice, and fairness.
Except MAGA Republicans. We're
garbage.
Democracy
must defend and be defined and be imposed, moved in every way possible. Our rights, our freedoms, our dreams. But we know the idea of America, our institution, our people, our values that uphold it are constantly being tested. Ongoing debates about power and the exercise of power. But whether we lead by the example of our power or the power of our example.
Oh, he's used that before.
Whether we show the courage to stand up to the abuse of power or we yield to it.
We
After
stand up to
50
your
years
abuse of power.
at the center of
Here
all
it
of
is.
this.
50 years, I told you.
I know that believing in the idea of America means respecting the institutions that govern a free society. The presidency, the Congress, the courts, a free and independent press. Institutions that are rooted, they just might not reflect the timeless words, but they echo the words of the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident. Rooted in the timeless words of the Constitution, we the people.
Oh, he remembered it this time.
Our system of separation of powers, checks and balances. It may not be perfect, but it's maintained our democracy for nearly 250 years, longer than any other nation in history that's ever tried such a bold experiment. In the past 4 years, our democracy has held strong. And every day I've kept my commitment to be president for all Americans.
Yeah, except MAGA Republicans.
One of the toughest periods in our nation's history. I've had a great partner in Vice President Kamala Harris. It's been the honor of my life to see the resilience of essential workers getting us through a once-in-a-century pandemic.
There it is, COVID. I told you.
The heroism of service members and first responders keeping us safe. The determination of advocates standing up for our rights and our freedoms.
Except the right to
Instead of losing
be in the
their
military
jobs
without getting a
to
jab.
an economic crisis that we inherited. Millions of Americans now have the dignity of work. Millions of entrepreneurs and companies creating new businesses and industries, hiring American workers, using American products. And together, we've launched a new era of American possibilities. One of the greatest modernizations of infrastructure in our entire history.
Infrastructure is a
New
tough
roads,
word for him.
bridges, clean water, affordable high-speed internet for every American. We invented the semiconductor, smaller than the tip of my little finger.
This is your little
Now
finger.
it's bringing those chip factories,
Not this one, it's this
those
one.
jobs back to America where they belong, creating thousands of jobs. Finally, giving Medicare the power to negotiate lower prescription drug prices for millions of seniors. And finally, doing something to protect our children.
That's two finallys.
Families by passing the most significant gun safety law in 30 years.
That was two finallys.
And bringing violent crime to a 50-year low. Meeting our sacred obligation to over 1 million veterans so far who are exposed to toxic materials, and to their families, providing medical care and education benefits.
I don't think he's
and
blinked
more
yet. I don't think he's blinked. Oh, there's a blink.
You know,
his eyes
it will
look
take
cold and
time
dead.
to feel the full impact of all we've done together. But the seeds are planted, and they'll grow and they'll bloom for decades to come. At home, we've created nearly 17 million new jobs, more than any other single administration, a single term.
That's not true. Those were COVID jobs that just came back after COVID.
Before. And overseas, we've strengthened NATO. Ukraine is still free. And we pulled ahead of our competition with China. And so much more. I'm so proud of how much we've accomplished together for the American people. And I wish the incoming administration success, because I want America to succeed. That's why I've held my duty to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition of power.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that,
To
of
ensure
course.
we lead by the power of our example. I have no doubt
Not
that
the
America's
example
in
of our
a position
power.
to continue to succeed. That's why my farewell address tonight, I want to warn the country of some things that give me great concern.
Told you, here it is.
This is a dangerous and that's a dangerous concentration of power in the hands of a very few ultra-wealthy people. The
Elon.
dangerous consequences if their abuse of power is left unchecked. Today, an oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence.
Oh, what?
It literally threatens our entire democracy.
Oh my gosh, he's
Our
bashing
basic rights.
He's bashing
freedoms,
Donald Trump and Elon Musk.
and a fair shot for everyone to get ahead.
He's taking on Elon.
We see the consequences all across America. And we've seen it before. More than a century ago, but the American people stood up to the robber barons back then.
The robber
And
barons.
busted the trusts. They didn't punish the wealthy. Just made the wealthy play by the rules everybody else had to.
The robber barons.
Workers want rights to earn their fair share. You know, they were dealt into the deal. And it helped put us on a path to building the largest middle class, the most prosperous century any nation in the world has ever seen. We've got to do that again. In the last 4 years, that is exactly what we've done. People should be able to make as much as they can, but play by the same rules. Pay their fair share of taxes.
This is horrible.
So much is at stake. Right now, the existential threat of climate change has never been clearer.
Come on, give me a break.
Just look across the country.
This is sad because
In California,
he's
North Carolina.
He's not the president.
That's why I signed
in
the most
5 days,
significant climate and clean energy
and he's
law
grasping at
ever,
straws.
ever in the history of the world. And the rest of the world is trying to model it now. It's working, creating jobs and industries of the future.
Remind me to say
Now,
something
we've
after
proven
this.
we don't have to choose between protecting the environment and growing the economy. We're doing
Well,
both.
unless you're California, in which case you're doing
Powerful
neither.
forces want to wield their unchecked influence to eliminate the steps we've taken to tackle the climate crisis.
Climate.
To serve their own interest for power and profit.
Climate crisis.
We must not be bullied into sacrificing the future of our children and our grandchildren. We must keep pushing forward and push faster. There's no time to waste. It's also clear that American leadership in technology is an unparalleled source of innovation that can transform lives. We see the same dangers of the concentration of technology, power, and wealth.
Oh, he's very big on the
His
concentration
farewell
of
address,
power.
President Eisenhower spoke of the dangers of the military-industrial complex.
Oh, ironically.
He warned us then about, and I quote, the potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power, end of quote. 6 decades later, I'm equally concerned about the potential rise of a tech-industrial complex that could pose real dangers for our country as well.
This is ironic, seeing as how you bullied Facebook
Americans
into
are
deleting
being buried
contents.
Under an avalanche of misinformation and disinformation.
Right, that your
enabling
presidency.
the abuse of power. The free press is crumbling.
Pushed.
Editors are disappearing. Social media is giving up on fact-checking.
Thank God.
The truth is smothered by lies told for power and for profit. We must hold the social platforms accountable to protect our children, our families, and our very democracy from the abuse of power. Meanwhile, artificial intelligence is the most consequential technology of our time, perhaps of all time. Nothing offers more profound possibilities and risks for our economy and our security, our society, for humanity. Artificial intelligence even has the potential to help us answer my call to end cancer as we know it. But unless safeguards are in place, AI could spawn new threats to our rights, our way of life, to our privacy, how we work, and how we protect our nation. We must make sure AI is safe and trustworthy and good for all humankind. In the age of AI, it's more important than ever that the people must govern. And as the land of liberty,
he's afraid the robots
America,
are going to take over.
Not China, must lead the world in the development of AI.
Well, that's rich.
You know, in the years ahead, it'll help to be, it's going to be up to the president, the presidency, the Congress, the courts, the free press, and the American people to confront these powerful forces. We must reform the tax code, not by giving the biggest tax cuts to billionaires, but by making them begin to pay their fair share. We need to get dark money. That's that hidden funding behind too many campaigns contributions.
Like yours.
We need to get it out of our politics.
That's George Soros, dude.
We need to enact an 18-year time limit, time and term, for the strongest ethics and the strongest ethics reforms for our Supreme Court.
A time limit for the Supreme Court.
We need to ban members of Congress from trading stock while they're in the Congress.
Oh, wait. Does Nancy
We need to
Pelosi
amend
know
the
about
Constitution to make clear that no president is immune from crimes that he or she commits while in office. The president's power is not limited. It's not absolute, and it shouldn't be. And in a democracy, there's another danger.
More
the
danger.
Concentration of power and wealth. It erodes a sense of unity and common purpose. It causes distrust and division. Participating in our democracy becomes exhausting and even disillusioning. And people don't feel like they have a fair shot. We have to stay engaged in the process. I know it's frustrating. A fair shot is what makes America America. Everyone's entitled to a fair shot. Not a guarantee, but just a fair shot.
I feel like that's what we have.
Field. Going as far as your hard work and talent can take you.
By the way, an even playing field does not mean you don't get a fair
shot. Never lose that essential truth. Remain who we are. I've always believed, and I've told other world leaders, America can be defined by one word: possibilities.
Possibilities.
Only in America do we believe anything is possible. Like a kid with a stutter from modest beginnings in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Claymont, Delaware, sitting behind this desk in the Oval Office as President of the United States. That's the magic of America.
He uses himself as an example of all the amazing examples of
Upstairs in the residence of the White House.
Of limitless possibilities.
I've walked by a painting of the Statue of Liberty, I don't know how many times. In the painting, there's several workers climbing on the outstretched arm of the statue that holds the torch. It reminds me every day I pass it of the story and soul of our nation and the power of the American people. There's a story of a veteran. This is a veteran. Son of an immigrant.
What? Son of an immigrant.
Whose job was to climb that torch and polish the amber panes so rays of light could reach out as far as possible. He was known as the keeper of the flame. He once said of the Statue of Liberty,
the KOTF,
quote, speaks a silent universal language, one of hope that anyone who seeks and speaks freedom can understand. Yes, we sway back and forth to withstand the fury of the storm, to stand the test of time. A constant struggle. A short distance between peril and possibility.
Struggle.
But what I believe is the America of our dreams is always closer than we think. It's up to us to make our dreams come
It's 5 days away for me. It's super
close.
close.
Let me close.
The America of my dreams.
My gratitude to so many people.
5 days away.
To the members of my administration, as well as public service and first responders across the country and around the world, thank you for stepping up to serve. To our service members and your families, it's been the highest honor of my life to lead you as Commander-in-Chief. And of course to Kamala and our incredible partner, historic Vice President. She and Doug have become like family. And to me, family's everything.
Yeah, we know. We know. We read Ashley's diary.
Our amazing First Lady was with me in the Oval today. For our entire family. You're the love of my life and the lives of my love.
Love of my life.
My eternal thanks to you, the American people. After 50 years of public service, I give you my word. I still believe in the idea for which this nation stands. A nation where the strength of our institutions and the character of our people matter and must endure. Now it's your turn to stand guard. May you all be the keeper of the flame. May you keep the faith. I love America. You love it too. God bless you all. May God protect our troops. Thank you for this great honor.
I love America. You love it too. All right, cut him off. Cut the feed. Clear. You weren't actually clear. You yelled clear before you were clear. That's you know what? That's the best, most fitting end to Joe Biden's press conference is the tech guy yelling clear when we could all hear him. Because typically what happens is, there's a little background. This is me. Let me just pull back the curtain on media. When you're doing a live thing like that and the camera's rolling, you wait until first you turn off the camera, you turn off the audio, way more important than even the camera, because the audio, that's what gets you in trouble. You cut the audio, you cut the camera. Once the camera and the audio are cut, you yell clear. And that alerts the talent, or in this case, Joe Biden, to the idea that they're no longer being recorded. Nobody can hear them or see them. But if you hear the guy say clear, it's not clear. I want to recap a couple. So Joe Biden said some stuff, and I feel like I'm going to take a minute to retort. Before I do, thank you so much to Christiane Haggerty. There's not going to be a get-together in D.C. next week. I just don't know that there's going to be time because we're there a short time. I have to go see my in-laws, that kind of stuff. And then Julie, thank you so much. It is going to be great. And I appreciate, I thank you for all you do too. Julie Toomey, by the way, volunteering her time every single day, along with Brandy and Dee, to make sure that this thing runs smoothly. Also, we do have some Rumble rants that came in. And for those of you that are familiar with the show, the Rumble rants, we do not have the technology to display those on the screen. However, Stethoscope, I don't know, is that actually your name? Is that a stethoscope? Stethoscope. Okay. We just want to see Biden fall up the stairs once more. Ha ha ha. We love you in Michigan, Mark. Thank you, Stethoscope, for it's a $10 Rumble rant too. Oh, wait, there's another one. also from Ask Stethoscope. Say something after this. He. Oh, because I said remind me to say something after this, and you did. I appreciate it. Yeah, a couple people have reminded me. Actually, let me just pull up the brightness on my screen here. Bodie's mom, Mark. Thanks for the laughs. These past 4 years, it's the only way I got through it. Bodie's mom, I appreciate it, and you are very welcome. It's the only way I got through it too. And then let's see, what do we got here? Okay, there we go. So we got Ask Stethoscope, and we have Bodie's mom. And was there one more here? Let's see what we got. Oh yeah. Oh, there's a couple more. TM Rozek. Number one. Oh, $1 Trish is back and never misses an episode. Always watching. Just can't watch all the time. Trish, thank you so much. TM Rozek, we really appreciate that. That is very sweet of you. And what else we got here? Oh, and go Lions. So there you go. There you go. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if you know Ask Stethoscope, but he's also in Michigan. So I don't know why that's not. There we go. He might also appreciate. And we appreciate all the Rumble Ranchers. We appreciate all the people dropping us our super chats. We're getting closer and closer to our goal. I took some notes. Let me just share some of these. The first thing, wait, those are my notes. That's my to-do list for today. Did I do everything on my to-do list? Let's see. Instagram post, check. YouTube video, check. Okay, good. Here we go. He warned about the potential rise of power, which is really, he was very upset or very concerned about the oligarchs. That means Donald Trump, a billionaire, is partnering up with Elon Musk, a billionaire, and they're buddy with Mark Zuckerberg now, who's also a billionaire, and Doug Burgum, who's going to be the Secretary of the Interior. Oh, fun fact, is a billionaire. In fact, all these people in the cabinet are very rich. RFK Jr., I don't know if you know about the Kennedys, they got lots of money. And so he's very worried. He's very worried about the potential oligarchy that is coming together. And I actually literally wrote in my Kayetriot Dispatch the other day about how having rich people as, I guess you would say, as role models is not a bad thing for America. In fact, it's a good thing. I think that what people don't realize, or, back before Donald Trump was president, there were a lot of young people that looked up to him because he was wealthy, because he lived the lifestyle, because he had a gold toilet. All those things. And if we can have the leaders of our country let people know that wealth is not bad. In fact, it's necessary for our own security. I mean, Pete Hegseth was, I was sitting there watching Pete Hegseth. They talked about the budget. You're going to have a $700 billion budget. That's billion with a B. You're going to have 3 million employees. Can you handle that? I mean, $700 billion is a lot of money. We're a very wealthy country, and we need to be, because we need to be secure. You need money to be secure. So I don't think this rise of power is a bad thing. Ironically, he talked about term limits, but it wasn't term limits, get this, for the Senate, where he served. It wasn't term limits for the House of Representatives, where Nancy Pelosi's been serving since the Statue of Liberty was lifted into New York Harbor back in the 1800s, or the 1900s. 1800? Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Wait, yeah. What he talked about was the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, where Donald Trump has now put 3 justices on the bench, and will probably put at least 1 or 2 more before it's all said and done. He wants term limits for the Supreme Court. The actual Constitution denotes that they're lifetime terms. They don't say anything else about lifetime terms for president. They don't say anything about lifetime terms for the Congress or the Senate, but they specifically dictate lifetime appointments for Supreme Court justices. Joe Biden doesn't like that. He's fine with a senator serving 20, 30 years in the Senate. He's fine with a senator getting elected to 5 6-year terms, decades being spent in Congress. He's fine with that. But he does not want those Supreme Court justices, especially the ones named Clarence Thomas, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, Amy Coney Barrett. He especially doesn't want any of them being around for a lifetime. He thinks that we definitely need some term limits on them. Misinformation and fact checking. He literally said that the social media companies are giving up fact checking. The reason they're giving up fact checkers is because they were not fact checkers. They were opinion checkers. He said there's been an erosion of our free press. This is the guy whose administration, Joe Biden, Jen Psaki, the White House Communications Department, these are the people who would get on the phone to Facebook and yell and scream at them to delete information that they knew was true. They knew it was true. Mark Zuckerberg, he went on Joe Rogan. He said, dude, they would tell me, they would scream at us. It was scary. They would call up and they would yell and scream and say, you got to take this down. And we'd look at it and go, that's true. That's true. We're not taking it down. Twitter, remember the Twitter files? Emails coming from the FBI, coming from Jen Psaki's office, coming from the communications department, coming from the White House. Here's a list of people we want you to cancel. Here's a list of people we want you to kick off your platform. Here are exact tweets that you need to suppress or delete. Do you remember the Hunter Biden laptop story that was actually true? Written in the New York Post, founded by Alexander Hamilton over 200 years ago, one of the oldest and most reputable newspapers we have, the New York Post, printed a story about Hunter Biden, printed a story about Hunter Biden's laptop, all accurate, all factual, not one piece of misinformation or Russian disinformation in the bunch, but they forced Twitter and Facebook and Instagram to suppress that thing. They put Kayleigh McEnany in Twitter jail. They told Kayleigh McEnany, White House press secretary, you can't tweet because this is inaccurate. It was wild. And now Joe Biden's on there warning about how giving up fact checking is bad for America. It wasn't fact checking. It was opinion checking. Those were opinion checkers. They checked on your opinion. And if your opinion didn't match their opinion, you weren't allowed on their platform. I know. My opinions didn't match any of their opinions, and I went toe to toe, head to head, and I lost a lot of influence and a lot of money as a result, because that's how they get you. That's how they can control the narrative. Demonetization, deplatforming, suppression. I write all about this in my book, Cancel Proof, which you can get at markkay.com/cancel if you're interested. And it's something that you should still really be concerned about. He talked about a fair shot at an even playing field. This is back to DEI and all those other kinds of things. This is all about all the initiatives they put in place that, thank God, are going by the wayside. This is an even playing field is not guaranteed. We're all created equal, sure. We all can pursue happiness. We all can have the same shot. Nowhere in the Constitution does it guarantee an even playing field. Nowhere in the Bible does it say we all come from an even playing field. We're all dealt a hand. And sometimes you're dealt a really good hand. And sometimes you're dealt a really crappy hand. And sometimes you can take a good hand and you can make it better. And sometimes you make a good hand and you end up losing the game. And sometimes you get a crappy hand and you win big in the end. Nobody is guaranteed an even playing field, nor should we convince anybody that they're due or that they're entitled to an even playing field. You've got to work hard, and sometimes you get knocked down, and then you got to work hard again, and sometimes you get knocked down, and then you got to work hard again. And eventually, one day, your dreams will come true, or they won't. That's the United States of America. At least you'll be free to do what you want to do. This is what I wanted to say. This is a guy that I believe is he's going to get angry. This is a guy who has spent 50 years, 5 decades in some position of power, whether it was Senate, whether it was vice president, whether it was president. He was one of those 3 things. He was a senator for ever since the 70s, 70s, 30 years. He was a senator. Then he became vice president of the United States. I don't know how that happened, but it did. And then he became president, even worse for the rest of us. And now he's going to go away with no power, with no say, with no responsibility, all these ideas. He's going to think that because he's been around forever and because he's old, he can tell people what to do. And you know what he's going to do? He's going to try to tell people what to do. And he's just going to get angry if you don't listen. He's going to be one of these guys that just, I would imagine, pops up just every now and then going, let me warn you about that. I know a thing or two about this. And he really doesn't know anything. He knows nothing. Pardon me while I sniffle. But that's basically Joe Biden in a nutshell. It's going to be bad for him. I don't give him much time. Typically, when somebody's addicted to something or when they work this long and when they have really nothing else going on in their lives, they retire basically, or in this case, they're forced into retirement. Typically, unless they find something to do, they don't last that long. That's why Jimmy Carter went into Habitat for Humanity, but I don't think Joe Biden's got the energy to start something new. Jimmy Carter was young when he left office. Jimmy Carter was young when he started his whatever 5th chapter or whatever it is. Joe Biden doesn't have time to do anything. He didn't have the energy to be president, let alone start some kind of foundation. It's going to be really interesting to see. What happens. We have some more. This is very exciting. We have some more stuff coming in here. I want to show Leslie Randall, who dropped $20 on our super chats. Leslie Randall, thank you so much. Looking forward to the next 4 years. Me too, Leslie Randall. The next 4 years are going to be amazing. And hopefully, good Lord willing, the next 4 after that and the next 4 after that. Because, we're in a unique situation. Never before in the United States of America have a group of voters been in this situation. That's not true. It happened once before. It happened with Grover Cleveland. Grover Cleveland was president, then he wasn't, then he was president again. So only one other time in history have we had a president serve 2 non-consecutive terms the way Donald Trump's about to serve. But I don't know how popular Grover Cleveland was back then, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't Donald Trump working McDonald's, driving the garbage truck, getting shot in the face, jumping up, yelling, fight, 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 dancing to the YMCA every single day of his life, popular. I'm just guessing. He may have been popular, but he was not Donald Trump popular. And we have just 4 years. In 2 years, there's a midterm election, and that's going to suck up a whole bunch of steam. By the way, I'll be very, very involved in that midterm election. And then after that, you've got a presidential election, and we don't know who's going to be the candidate. We know who it's not going to be, Donald Trump. Is it going to be J.D. Vance? Typically, history tells us that the vice presidential candidate follows in the footsteps and becomes the presidential candidate after the president is term limited out. And that'll be Donald Trump in 2028. J.D. Vance will be 44 years old. 44 years old with 2 years as a senator under his belt and 4 years as vice president. And he's going to be probably, I would assume, unless he does something to tick Donald Trump off or really screw the pooch, which I don't foresee J.D. Vance doing either of those things. I imagine that J.D. Vance is probably going to be Donald Trump's hand-chosen pick. Donald Trump Jr. will also want J.D. Vance to remain in a position of power. This is going to be a dynastic MAGA coalition that's going to continue to, they want Donald Trump's legacy to succeed. They don't want someone to come around and dismantle it. So you've got, J.D. Vance as the front runner, but you've also got Ron DeSantis. You've also got, I'm sure, Nikki Haley and God knows who else. There's a whole bunch of Republicans who are going to get uppity between now and 2028. There's a whole bunch of Republicans that are going to go, I don't know if J.D. Vance is the guy. I don't think Ron DeSantis is I don't think America's ready for Ron. There's going to be another primary battle like we haven't seen, since this last prime. There's going to be a Nikki Haley. I don't know who it's going to be yet. It's going to be somebody. And they're going to jump up and say, I'm a better president than this person. So we've got 4 years. We've got 4 years with an impassioned base, with an excited electorate. We've got 4 years with a majority in the Senate. We've got 2 years with a slim majority in the House of Representatives. And I hope to God we can keep it. I hope to God. I don't want to go into my freshman year as a congressman with a House minority. I'll do it. In fact, I'd be okay with it because I'm used to being the minority position. I don't know if you know this, but every time I walk into a room or a meeting, there's very few people that think like me. I'll do it. But I'm just saying that I'd rather go in with the majority. It would make life a lot easier. Karina Yabeni, August 18th, 2026. Hells yeah, Mark. That is right. Someone's been paying attention. August 18th, 2026. That is primary day, which is very important because that's the day we can primary representatives who don't represent us and yet just represent themselves. Karina Yabena, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm going to throw that one in the campaign coffers. Throw that one in the campaign. And mark that date down on your calendars, folks. Tell Siri, set a reminder. Hey, Siri, set a reminder for August 18th, 2026. It's primary day! ! So much for the super chat. Oh, I'm listening to myself, so I should probably turn that up. Okay, good. She said a reminder. Looks like we got another Rumble rant coming in here. So let me just shout out these people because, like I said, we've got to do it this way. We've got Florida Trumper. Is that right? Yes. Here we go. Florida Trumper. I've been listening to you since 2018. Thank you for being informative and funny. LFG. Which stands for Let's Freaking Go 2025. Hashtag MAGA Florida Trumper. Thank you so much for that. We got Ass Stethoscope is back. Ass Stethoscope, by the way, is Moneybags. He's like the guy at the strip club that just keeps throwing 20s, or I guess 5s on the stage. Can you still do songs? I miss your singing. Family of entertainers here, and you have talent, sir. Why, thank you very much. I can do songs. I haven't done songs in a while, not because I don't want to, but just because it's time consuming. And now that I'm doing not one, but 2 podcasts and I'm all on my lonesome, not a lot of time for singing. These ukuleles on the back wall over here are kind of gathering dust. Marielle 67. I discovered your show in 2020 when the pandemic started and we were sent home to work. Thanks for all you do and good riddance, JB. That is correct. Good riddance, Joe Biden. Get on out of here. Get on out of here. That was the last time we will ever have to hear him speak, the good Lord willing. Now, again, don't forget, if you found our show and you're here, thank you so much. If you're just stumbling on us for the first time, do not forget to hit subscribe. Hit subscribe, hit like, hit the notifications, because we do this every day. And we're going to keep doing it every day. It's so important. What we do here is so important. It's so important to, and again, I'm not patting myself on the back because it's not just me. I mean, it is just me. I literally just told that other guy, it's just me. Okay, it is just me, but us cumulatively, because I come on here so that I can inform you of what's going on. That's number one. Number one, information. Okay, that's not true. Number one, entertainment. Because if you're not interested, if you're not entertained, you're not going to listen to the information. So I come on here to entertain you every single day. And I hope that I do a good job. Then I want to inform you and say, hey, while I've got your attention, let me tell you about all the lies they're telling you. Let me tell you about all the dirty deeds they're pulling on you. Hey, while you're paying attention to me because I'm loud and funny and bald and I'm making a big spectacle while I'm doing all that stuff, singing songs, playing the ukulele, I want to also teach you a thing or two about what's going on with the deep state, what's going on with the Democrats, what's going on with these tyrants who say they're doing one thing but are doing something totally different, and it's going to really tick you off. That's the second part. And then, of course, there's inspiration. I don't want to be one of those yelly guys. I want you to feel inspired. There's so many people out there. I won't name any names, but there's so many people out there on the radio, on television, and you watch them and you turn off the show and you feel worse about yourself. And you're like, oh my God, it's all horrible. Oh my God, this country's going to hell. There's nothing I can do about it. There's always something you can do about it. So those are my 3 big things. I want to entertain you, inform you, and inspire you. And that's why I do this every single day. Now, the flip side of that is you guys keep showing up. And more of you are showing up every single day. Don't think I don't notice. Don't think I don't notice that we have more and more people watching this show every day. Don't think I don't notice that more and more people are downloading the podcast. Mark Kaye Saves the Republic, the 47 Daily. Every single morning. There's a reason I wake up at 5:45 when I'm basically unemployed. Some people do podcasts like at this time. They sleep till noon. They get up, they go play golf, they come back, and at 8 o'clock, they're like, I guess I should go do a podcast now. I'm doing this all day. 7 a.m. We're on with the 47daily.com. We're trying to give you all the information we're trying to give you all the information you need to know about what's going on with Donald Trump. And then, of course, Mark Kaye Saves the Republic at noon. But the flip side is you guys enjoy it and you watch it and you keep coming back. So as long as you keep coming back, I'll keep coming back. And that's going to be at least the next 4 years. Now, there is some exciting stuff, like I said, for next week. Next week is going to be one of the craziest and wildest and most exciting weeks of our lives. And I'm not just referring to the inauguration. The inauguration is going to be amazing. It's going to be fantastic. We all know this. There's going to be Carrie Underwood. There's going to be someone else who else is going to be there? The Village people are going to be all over. Kid Rock, I hear, is going to be there. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be freezing cold, but there's going to be an amazing crowd. Everything's going to be awesome. And as a result, because of that, what we're going to see is we're going to see a party like you've never seen before. The balls, the spectacle, everybody's going to be in town. Everybody's going to be in DC. It's going to be incredible. Now, on top of that, once you look past all of that, you also have to look at the first week of Donald Trump's presidency. And the first week of Donald Trump's presidency is going to be it's going to be a flurry. It's going to be a flurry of activity. They're going to go to the West Wing. They're going to immediately start signing bills. They're going to immediately start deporting people. They're going to immediately shut down the border. You are going to see within just a couple of days a kind of change like you've never seen before in the United States of America. You're going to see the kind of change like you've never seen before in the history of our country. And it's going to be positive, and it's going to be lasting, and it's going to be incredible. And the farther and farther away we get from Joe Biden's presidency, the better America is going to get. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited for next week. And of course, the next 4 years. And I'll be honest with you. I'm excited for tomorrow. I just wake up and I'm like, I'm excited. Tomorrow's going to be a great day. We'll be back. Like I said, we'll have the 47 Daily tomorrow live. Oh, by the way, don't forget, I'm still looking for, this whole Gulf of America thing really caught me off guard. I wasn't prepared for how excited everyone was going to be about the Gulf of America stuff, but I'm looking for a design for the inauguration. I've been racking my brain. I got the designers go. I haven't pinpointed one that I like. I'm looking for the next great design for the next 4 years. If you have any ideas, shoot them my way. Let me know. Drop me a DM. Go to the chat. Whatever you want to do. Because like I said, we really want to ramp up our merchandising this year. There's a lot of great opportunities. This Gulf of America shirt is fire. We've sold just every 5 minutes. It seems like another order comes in for one of these things. And whether it's and again, I'm not going to take all the credit because I didn't say, let's change the name to the Gulf of America. But as soon as I heard it, I said, well, that's got to be a t-shirt. And I will take the credit because I did design this all by my lonesome. I do like the blue and red on white. I think I'm a big fan of that. And not that I'm a white supremacist. I just think it looks snappy. So either one that you want. There's also, of course, Gulfy, the official mascot of the Gulf of America. Very cute. We sell a lot of those. We're pushing a lot of Gulfies. And I should, you know what? Now that I look at this 40-ounce tumbler, I probably should have called it the Gulp of America. Thank you. But you know what you can do? You can just get a red pen and you can make the F into a P and it can be like the Gulp of America. All right, that's gonna be my next thing. But always looking for new ideas. These are available right now. Don't forget to use Trump World for 15% off your entire order. Some guy told you, he wrote to me the other day. He goes, Mark, I'm bummed. And I go, what's wrong? He goes, I ordered a shirt from you, and then the next day you added a coupon code. And I said, false. That is fake news. That coupon code has been up there forever. In fact, I had to change it from the birthday coupon code that was left over from October because I never updated that one. So a lot of people were getting away with a big birthday bonus because I never changed it. But there's always check this red line up here. There will always be a coupon code of some time. Anyway, I think I owe that guy like $4 or something. I got to figure it out. But anyway, go get your merchandise right now. MarkKShop.com. Get your Gulf of America shirt. Get it in whatever fashion color you want. There's blue, there's gray, there's white, there's yellow, there's pink, which is very popular. Heather blue, heather gray, white, yellow, pink, all these things. Anyway, and you can look at all the other merchandise while you're there. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thanks so much for watching Joe Biden's farewell address. I'm so excited that guy's gone. Like, I can't even believe it. I'm so excited. I haven't been drinking for like a week and a half now, but I may have to celebrate with a little something because we'll never have to be interrupted to hear Joe Biden stutter through another speech ever again. Listen, have a great night. Tomorrow, Mark Kaye saves the Republic at noon Eastern. The 47 Daily will be... just subscribe. That's the easiest thing to do. Just subscribe to the channel. That way you're always going to know when we're live, when we're posting videos, when we've got great content for you. All right. I will see you tomorrow.